And then let's just finally look at Green Bay and Philly. This is a very interesting matchup and handicapping scenario. Green Bay, of course, looked very alarmingly sluggish on offense in their last game last week, which was a very important game against the Bears. They've also looked great at times this year, at times like a legit Super Bowl team. But Philly, when Michael Vick is healthy and playing at full intensity, they've just looked unstoppable. Green Bay does have a great defense and pass rush, and Vick has struggled when pressured this year, especially against the blitz. So it'll definitely be a strength versus strength showdown in that regard. And this, to me, is looking like a game where a blowout by either team wouldn't be a huge surprise. So I don't see either side as being one that's very attractive to me. With Philly as a 2.5-point favorite, I'm wondering what your takes on this game are, and if you see any value anywhere, if there's too many unknowns for your liking. Scott, what do you think?
I like Green Bay in this game. Full disclosure, I bleed green and gold, so you have to be able to separate that if that's my rooting interest or if I am on target here. But I think something that gets undervalued quite a bit is Green Bay's defense. Their defense has played unbelievable this year. They've had some injuries, but some of the guys that they've actually replaced their injured players with, Desmond Bishop replacing Barnett, it might actually end up being a lot better than Nick Barnett. They lost their safety early in the year, but he was a rookie. They've replaced him with other safeties. And to get Cullen Jenkins back in this game on the defensive line, that will help them a lot. This defense is unbelievable. They were second in the league in giving up points. In their last 9 games, they haven't allowed more than 20 points, other than the New England game. But let's remember, that's the game when Matt Flynn played, and they returned an interception for a touchdown. And unfortunately, they let the offensive lineman return the kickoff down to the 4-yard line, which accounts for another 7 points. So they really only gave up 17 points to New England's offense. So this defense has played unbelievably well. They can put pressure on them. They won there, obviously, early in the year, 27-20. But Kevin Cobb obviously started that game, and they basically shut him down. And Vic came in and actually ran for over 100 yards against them, moved the ball fairly well on him, but I think that was more to them just not being able to game plan. And the recipe to stop Vic, I think, has kind of been written in the last few weeks with what the Vikings did to him. The Packers obviously will try to pressure him a little bit. So, I think the offenses are pretty much equal if Vic is on, but the defenses are dramatically different here. Philadelphia gave up almost 24 points this year. They've been savage with injuries on the defense. Stuart Bradley's going to be out more than likely. They lost their safety, Allen, earlier in the year. They lost Graham on the defensive line. They're ripe to be taken advantage of from the Packers' offense, and the Packers' defense, I think, is head and shoulders above Philadelphia. I like Green Bay plus the points, and I would actually look at the under here. Only fear of taking the under is if Green Bay would explode against this defense. But they should shut down Philly, I would think, and not really give Philly more than maybe 20 points in this game.
That's an interesting analysis. Zach, what does your math say, and how much do you trust it on this game?
That's a really good question, Peter, and our math is it's really bizarre here. If you can get the game at Philadelphia -2 instead of 2.5, we'd actually put our clients on the money line here. Very good records with both teams. To be exact, what our records are with both teams straight up this year is we're 10-6 with Green Bay and we're 11-5 with Philadelphia. In situations where we differ from the Vegas point spread by under 0.5 point, under 1.5 points, we're 76% on the year. But bear in mind, if you're looking at Philadelphia -2.5 in that game, all that information goes for naught and all is irrelevant because it doesn't fit the requirements anymore. So it's really a matter if you want to haggle for the 0.5 point. If you do, then we'd recommend Philadelphia on the on the money line. But realistically speaking, we can't give a strong play either way here. The numbers just don't support it. Too much around 500 and too much haggling for a 0.5 point to lay odds.
Yeah, and also like Michael Vick, his health, for one, and his likely performance seems to me to be a difficult thing to sort of get a read on. Bob Harvey, do you have any read on this game or Michael Vick's likely performance?
Well, Michael Vick's got a severely bruised quad, but he's going to play. But he's going to be slowed down. It's not going to be the same Michael Vick who turned in a few MVP type performances during the middle of the season. I've got this game, Packers winning it by 5. So I really like Green Bay, and I think it's Scott who also likes Green Bay and maybe is afraid of the the hometown affiliation or whatever. But Scott, I like Green Bay as well. My only concern, and it really happened with both teams, is I'm not sure what to make of either offense. The Packers struggled to get 10 points against the Bears, and the Bears weren't really playing for much in that game. And the Packers lost back on December 12th to Detroit. Again, they scored 3 points, lost the game 7-3. So which Packer offense shows up? Is it the one that scored 45 against the Giants, or is it the one that scored 3 points against Detroit? I can say the same thing about Philadelphia. They closed by scoring 13 points against Dallas and 14 against Minnesota, two teams that aren't in the playoffs. So just a couple of schizophrenic teams. But I'm going to go with the Packers in this, and I like them to win outright, and no opinion on the total.